Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint on a Thursday. Because Graham, as the youngsters say, mate, Thursday is the new Friday.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
But yeah, no, look, we're here live on a Thursday night because obviously England are playing tomorrow. A few people are working tomorrow as well, so we thought we'd squeeze the show in on a Thursday night. Yes, I'm missing EastEnders, but I'll catch it up after.
Yeah, right. Not all heroes wear capes, mate.
Exactly, mate. I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, Graham.
Right. I'm popping out and coming back. Stay there. Right.
Scott's going up the shop, but me and Graham, how you been, mate? It's been a little while since I've had a chat with you. How you been, son?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You know, just working away like everyone else.
Yeah, you're looking well, mate. You're looking really well.
Yeah. Thank you. And you, mate, you look like you've done a little bit more there since I last saw you. You've lost a load anyway, but you look like you've done a bit more there.
Yeah, I'm stop it. You get me going. Oh, Scott's back. He logged in and he got Scott. How are you, mate?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, finally recovered from a heavy 4 days in Benidorm.
Yeah, you two went on the lash to Benidorm, didn't you? Any stories you'd like to share? Any stories you'd like to share with the crowd, or is it too early?
I walked straight past the landslide next to our apartment. Scott come into the room in the morning. He's going, "You seen the landslide outside your room?" I was like, "No, I just walked straight past it last night."
Mate, I've never ever seen rain like it. Honestly, it was like a monsoon. It was out there on the last night we were there.
It was terrible though, because it was so heavy we couldn't get out of the pub. It was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, that old excuse, is it? That old excuse. We couldn't leave the pub because it was raining.
It's a reason for a lock-in. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, hammer it down with rain. Should we go? No, we'll have one more. Might stop in a minute.
Yeah, it'd be rude not to. But anyway, hello to everyone in the chat. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at the moment. So thank you also for joining us tonight. I think there's a load we can talk about. We covered quite a bit of it on the podcast the other night. So if you ain't a patron, join up, but you can listen to the podcast. Little plug there, Scott. See that? See how I work it?
Seamless.
Yeah, no, look, let's start off. Before we talk some negatives, let's start off with a bit of positive news that come out today. Is that the man that retired only a few months ago, Mr. Mark Noble, Mr. West Ham, is back at the football club in January, from January the 2nd, my daughter's birthday. So what a birthday present that is for her. I ain't got to get her nothing this year. You've got Mark Noble back at the football club. He's coming back as a sporting director to help out with David Moyes and be the sort of go-between the directors, the youth team, David Moyes. Happy with the appointment?
I think it's brilliant. We knew he would come back to the club in some capacity. I'll be honest, I thought it'd be a coaching role, maybe starting with the academy or something like that. But yeah, I'm just really pleased to have him back at the club.
Yeah, so I'm the same. I think things aren't going great in a minute, and I think it's going to be a big boost to have him back involved. Like I said to you, right when you posted it on the group, we need him back in the dressing room right now. So I think it's only going to benefit the club.
Yeah, 100%. Look, there's been a lot missing at that football club. There's been a lot of voices leave that changing room, including the coaching staff with Stuart Pearce, and a lot of other players have left the club. But we all knew that. Why can't I hear myself? Who's got feedback?
Hang on.
Scott.
So
yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah,
that's better, mate. That's better. But yeah, no, look, to have Mark Noble back at the football club, listen, he loves it. He loves the football club, and he's basically been given a sort of job for life, really, if he does well with it. And I think he's the perfect person to, like, when I read like what roles he's going to be doing, I like that he's going to be he's linked to the dressing room as well, and obviously Moyes wanted him on board. Moyes knows what a big loss he was to the changing room.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's it, mate. That's the thing. Is you can sort of see. I feel that you've seen it from the start of the season. There is something missing from that dressing room, and I just think it's him, just the personality that he has, the calmness that he can bring. The fact that he knows what it's about, what the fans are about. I think we've lacked that this season. And I feel that having him back involved in the club will just boost the club. We need a bit of a boost at the minute. We've got the international break now, so get him involved, get him back in that dressing room, sort the boys out a bit.
Why wait to January though?
That's what I mean. Is the thing is, what is Newman's role? At the club. Is he sporting director or is he just head of recruitment?
I think it's clear to see that when you looked at the announcement today that they've sort of made this role for Noble. It's a new role that they've made. I'm not really sure what Rob Newman does at the football club. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything because he might do a lot behind the scenes that we don't know about. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that he's back at the club. I thought he would have been out a lot longer, like maybe have had a season away, But listen, he went to Harvard. He studied it at Harvard. He got his degree. Let me tell you something now, mate. You walk around Canning Town saying you've been to Harvard, mate. You're getting a slap. You can't say things like that. You used to get beat up for going to school once a week.
What you lying for?
No, it's obviously something that he's looked into doing for a long time. Because I watched him. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I watched the Joe Cole podcast with Mark Noble on it, and it was really good. And he even said that he applied for it. I think it was last year, and then obviously COVID hit, so he had to wait, and he went away this June. So it was literally retired in May, and then a couple of weeks later, he's flying off to America. Stayed there for 5 days to get his degree in media and business.
I think there was a couple of other. I saw a picture of the class all together afterwards. I can't remember. I think there was a couple of other ex-footballers in there as well. I can't think off the top of my head who it was though.
Apparently, it's a really hard course to get on, and if you got to be lucky to get on it. So, yeah, no, fair play to him. It's nice that he's going to be back at the football club. I'm still getting. I looked at that picture that they put up and see Mark Noble in a suit, and I'm thinking to myself, that could be a manager's announcement in a couple of years' time. That could be Noble. This could be the way of easing Noble into the football club to eventually become manager.
The thing is, when you're such a legend at a football club, it's really hard to come in and then take the lead of that club, because you've got your reputation as being, Mr. West Ham and all that, and the last thing you want is to come into a football club and things don't go great being a manager. I get what you're saying. In the future, if he's saying he wants to take up, you can see it, but you sort of go and earn your, prove yourself lower down the league, and then come up, work your way up, and then hit the ground running. Because
the thing is, I mean,
a fickle bunch.
Yeah, we're speculating, but he might not want to do that. He might want to be involved in a sporting director's role. And I mean, we all thought it would, like as Graham said, that he'd come back to the club as maybe a coach in the youth team or something. But he's gone straight to the top, mate. He's a sporting director. Imagine if he sacked David Moyes on January the 3rd.
The thing is, though, I don't. A lot of sporting directors, you see them like they're up in the stands with the owners and all that sort of thing. But he's not going to be that sort of. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's down in the dressing room on match days.
Yeah, he probably will be, mate.
It wouldn't surprise me if he put his boots on and get out on the pitch.
Yeah, he's coming out with a warm up and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's a good. I think it's a good appointment for the club, and it's a good time. It's a good time to announce it for me.
Do you want to go? Do you want to get some comments up, Scott? I'll leave you in charge of that tonight, mate. I know you love the comments.
You've thrown me from the start.
But yeah, no, I think everyone. I mean, reading some of the comments as I was going through, a lot of people were happy to see Mark Noble back at the football club. Some people were saying it's. I see some people on Twitter saying that it's a wrong move, but how do you know if it's a right or wrong move at the moment? You know, he's not even in the job yet, so let's give him a bit of a chance.
Enjoy Christmas and then step into the role.
I'm just trying to find anything that's on what's relevant to what we're talking about. So just carry on talking amongst yourselves.
Anyway, Graham.
Yes. It feels weird, like doing this, but not having a pint in your hand.
Well, it feels weird doing this, knowing that I've got to go to work tomorrow, because usually it's on a Friday and no one's got to go to work. So if you work Monday to Friday,
it's a school night.
It's Graham. It's Graham who's got the feedback because he's doing it from his phone. He needs to change the settings.
Oh, Graham, what have you done?
Yeah.
That's all right. That didn't happen that time.
Okay, is it me?
I don't know. Who cares? Let's just crack on. Scott, you got any comments yet?
Most of the comments are people talking amongst themselves, saying hello. I don't want to get onto the Moyes comments yet. So
let's move on then. Everyone's happy. I'll speak for the crowd. Everyone's happy. Noble's back. Let's move on.
Super chat straight in. Thanks very much for your $5. Where's Nicky?
Nicky is he's got work tonight. He's to work at 1 o'clock in the morning, so he's probably tucked up in bed now. You know, he probably ain't. He's probably sitting there playing Xbox or something. But he's got work at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's got a big weekend coming up, so he's got to get as much rest as he can because he's got a big Saturday night coming up.
Yes.
Let's go on, Scott.
So there's one here on the thingy. 5 days cinema gets a certificate, not a degree.
Well, to be honest, mate, I mean, I don't really know what he gets. All I know is that you go to Harvard, it's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It has to be. You know, like you said, it's one of them. Things. Like you said, it's hard to get onto. So it's one of them. Someone else agrees with me about Noble being back in the dressing room. Could have done with him a few times this season.
If I went to Harvard, I'll probably get chucked out by security. That's the only thing I'll get.
Andy says he's buzzing to have Mr. West Ham back at the club would be great, and he already has a relationship with Moyes and the players. Noble could be key to the academy players staying, e.g. Asprey.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You know, he's going to have an involvement in the youth, so he knows what. I mean, if for them young player, I mean, I remember when I spoke to interview Kenny Brown when he went back for his new role, and he obviously brings through the youngsters like the 11 and 12-year-olds and that. I mean, what inspiration for them young lads to look up to someone like Mark Noble and think like one day I could play for West Ham in the first team and I can captain the football club and I can make over 500 appearances. So it's good. It's good to have him now.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, I think a lot of people are in the same ilk as us, you know, saying that it can only be a good thing for the football club.
The thing is, I think personally, it will give a big lift to the dressing room, having him.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, you know he's going to be there on a match day. He's not going to just go and sit in the stand, is he? No,
exactly. Jamie's donated £16. Cheers, mate. Thank you for that. Evening, fellas. Glad the legend is back.
What are you talking about, Graham or Noble?
John T says, loving Noble being back. Borough fan. Noble, great appointment by the club. Yeah. So, do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. There's a few people in there saying it's Thursday, right? Look, it is Thursday. We know it's Thursday. I wish it was a Friday, but obviously England are playing tomorrow night. I think Dan might be doing a watch along for the England game. So yeah, you know, we're doing it tonight because if not, we wouldn't have done it. So we thought we're all here together on a Thursday night. Dan should be along shortly. The next thing, I mean, I'm going to let you two sort of give your thoughts on it because obviously I spoke a bit about it on the podcast, so I'll chip in every now and again. But obviously, David Moyes, bit under pressure at the moment. There's a lot of people calling for him to go. A few people obviously getting behind him. difficult times for David Moyes at the moment, and obviously the first team, that because results ain't going our way. But what's your thoughts on it? Would you get rid of Moyes or stick with him?
Go on, Gray.
I would stick with. I think it'd be if we got rid of him. I know the back end of last season we weren't brilliant, and it's sort of carried on a little bit into this season so far. But who are you going to bring in? I've heard Pochettino mention, but is he going to want to leave? Is it PSG in it?
Well, he's actually out of work.
Was it? I thought you were still at PSG.
No, mate, they sacked him ages ago.
So as much attention I'll pay to French football, but there you go. But no, I think it'd be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction at the moment. You got to give the new players a chance to bed in, and well, they've got to be started a bit more. I think the only thing you could say about him is he's bought these players and he's not really starting them regularly enough, in my opinion.
What the fuck happened there? He sounded like, in Back to the Future, when he goes into the future and he walks into the cafe and Michael Jackson's on the screen. He goes, "Can I bark beep beep beef?"
Yeah, I'd say at the moment the only criticism I'd have of Moyes is we spent all this money on the players and he's not really using them effectively at the minute. But I think it'd be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction at the minute if we got rid of him 7 games this season.
Scott, stick or sack?
Hey, stick with him, mate. He's earned 2 years for the past 2 seasons. We've had European football. We've had good times. We finished in the top 8 twice. We've been pushing for the top 4. Look, we're in a bad vein of form. It happens. Do I think he's stubborn? Yes. Do I think the problems are his own doing? Yes. Do I trust him to get it out of us? 100%. He can't. We watched the Everton game. We had to watch it on my phone at the airport because we were heading back, and it weren't good enough, was it? Everton are a poor side, and we've gone there. Right, we've created chances, but we've gone there and got beat, and that's the West Ham of old to me. Player hasn't scored a goal for his new club. Team looking for their first win. Rock up West Ham. There you go, 3 points, and your striker's got a goal. That's what I thought we'd stop being. Moyes using this excuse, players are not ready. Look at other teams. Newcastle signed a player on a Friday, shoved him in on a Sunday, scores a goal for him. Other teams chucking their players in. We've got one of the best Brazilian players who keeps the other Brazilians in the Premier League out of the starting 11. We're making him look piss poor. And it is Moyes' tactics, and he's got to take the criticism, and he will take the criticism, but he has to take it. We play far too deep, we're far too negative. He's too stubborn on his selection. He's playing players, Bowen, Fornal, Souček, they're all bang out of form, and he's still playing them. He needs to change up. If he changes it up, and we're still not getting the rewards and goes back to it, then he can sit there and say, well, at least he's tried. At the minute, he ain't trying. And one of the first things of madness, mate, is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's what he's doing.
Well, the thing that frustrates me the most is how we just sit back all the time. Regardless of who we're playing, we sit back and then try, whether we're playing top of the table or bottom of the table. I want to see us get a grip on a game, dominate possession, have a go at a team. I'm not talking about going toe-to-toe with Man City, but when you're playing teams around you, don't just sit there and let them have the bulk of the possession and then try and hit them on the break. Get hold of the ball.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I said the other day, I mean, I don't watch many West Ham Premier League games on the telly because I'm obviously at most of the games, home and away. But I sat there and watched the Everton game, and I couldn't believe how bad we was. And it was just the schoolboy errors that were the most frustrating. It was giving the ball away, not passing 5 yards, not tracking back, not being able to take anyone on, looking nervous on the ball. And the thing is, I think, yes, Moyes is to blame for some of that, but it's also the players as well. I think Moyes is trying to be loyal to the players that have been good for him, but the loyal players are letting him down at the moment. So he needs to make changes, because if not, it's going to cost him his job. In the long run, it will. And we've got some massive games coming up. We've got a big game coming up against Wolves at home, and I think we play Fulham, Bournemouth, Southampton, Liverpool as well. Liverpool and United away. They're games that if you get anything from them, you've had a result. But the games Fulham, Wolves, Bournemouth, all at home, they're the games that we need to pick up maximum points. Because if not, look, David Moyes, for me, as you said, Scott, I think he's earned the right to try to turn this around, because a lot of fans are quick to listen. We get frustrated. You're only as good as your last game. I know that, and people can say, "Yeah, but look at the stats over the last few months." Yeah, but what you got to remember is we had a squad that was battling for Europe in the European semi-finals, doing well in Europe. We had no out-and-out striker. We had the Finnish squad in the Premier League. We still finished 7th and got to a European semi. At the beginning of that last season, if you'd have said that to everyone would have took that. So, yes, it could have been better. And yes, look, stats don't lie. But I think Moyes is the right man to turn it around. And I think, but he has to stop being stubborn, and he has to make them changes. And he has to release players like Scamacca, Cornet, Benrahma, Paqueta, put them on the pitch at the same time and see what they can do.
Mate, it's time now you turn around and say to Declan Rice, you need to do what you do for England. You sit and hold and let the others go at the game. You know, we when we play Scamacca, we play far too deep. We need to be up and around him. We rely so much on Antonio. You know, and for me, Antonio's picked up a bit in the last couple of games. He's looked the player that he was.
I don't think he deserved to come off on Sunday.
No, and this is the frustrating thing for me. How many times did we sit there and scream for Moyes to take Antonio off because he couldn't run, he was knackered, he left him on? Now, when we need him to be on the pitch and go 2 up top because we're chasing the game, he takes him off.
You know,
and then, as I said, we bring Scamacca on, and we're so far deep in our own half, the gap between Scamacca and the midfielders is just a joke.
Do you think, looking at Scamacca's looking frustrated already?
I think that's just his aura, his attitude. I think that's just the way he is. He's that sort of player. He's like a Ibrahimovic type player, and Arnautovic. You know, they've got that arrogance. I don't think he's pissed off, because listen, when he plays, he's doing really well. You look at his European record so far; he's banging them in. He's doing well.
Yeah,
and that's it. And it just seems to be that we're not kicking on. You know, we've had two good wins. Right, you know, we conceded 2 poor goals in the other game, but we've got 2 wins in Europe, and we just don't seem to push on. You know, I just don't know what it is. Cornet, you know, he's another player that runs at people, gets direct. Scamacca thrives on balls into the box, and we consistently play wingers on their opposite foot. You know, it's time that he needs to start to look to change things. Be more natural with your wide players. You know, play players in their positions. Don't keep playing the likes of Fornells. You know, Souček took a lot of criticism, and rightly so, especially against the Everton game. That pass he made towards the end of the game was absolutely shocking. And the fact that he didn't pick Antonio out when Antonio was making that run and he had acres of space to play that ball is another thing. But Fornells is just the same. And Fornells gets off so much because he runs around a lot.
Well, I was just about to say that, Scott, and that's one of my criticisms of Souček lately, is that when I actually watched him on Sunday and I looked at him and I'm thinking to myself, now the goals have dried up, what does he actually offer to the team? Because he's not winning headers, he can't tackle, lately he can't pass. You know, he can run around. People can chuck stats at me all day long saying, oh, but he covers the most ground running around. Listen, if you're in a Formula One race, if you finish last, but you finish the race, you've still done the same laps and miles. There's the same person that's won it, but you don't get nothing for it. So you can run around all day long looking pretty, but it just, and I don't want to criticize Souček too much because I like him. I really do. And I know, but I think for me personally, if I was David Moyes, I would drop him and I would put Downs in alongside Rice. Just give Souček that bench time just to say that, look, he's got to up his game now. And I think putting someone like Downs in there would be a breath of fresh air for this team, because he's someone that we've been crying out for the last few years. Every time someone's watched Mark Noble, I wish Noble was younger. I wish Noble had the legs. We need a player like him. Well, we have. We've got Flynn Downs sitting there on the bench who will get around, run around, put tackles in, and do the basic stuff. Because we need to go back to basics if we're going to start winning football games.
Yeah.
And he's very good at retaining possession. He's very tidy on the ball, which is, I think, something we desperately need at the minute.
But that's the thing for me. You know, look, Rice hasn't had the best season so far. You know, he's gone from being an 8 and 9 every game to being a 7. You know, for me, and he's not giving us a lot driving forward. And I feel that it's time now to.
This for hours?
No, Rice.
Oh, Rice, yeah.
You know, it's now time that we need him to be the skipper. We need him to do the dirty work and allow the flair players to do their job. And Moyes has got to get the best out of these flair players, whether that's playing 2 up front, whether it's playing the natural wide players, you know, on their natural foot. It needs change, and he can't keep, you know, Creswell. Why are we still playing Creswell? We signed a left back. Why are we still playing him? You know, yeah, he can put a ball into the box, but yeah, we're getting caught out down that side again. You know, it's just so frustrating.
Sometimes they look for that diagonal on Sunday from their left to right, so from our right to left. I was always looking to get 1-on-1 with Creswell down that side.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
the thing is as well. We were speaking about this as well about Soufal. I mean, defending Soufal's brilliant. He knows how to defend. He knows how to block a player off. He knows to be in the right positions. Going forward, he's terrible. But he hasn't got. He needs someone working hard in front of him, and usually that's Jarrod Bowen. But Jarrod Bowen's out of form, so he's not helping Soufal.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating because you go back to Fornells as well. When I watch him, it doesn't take people on. If you watch him closely, he'll get in that position, and he hasn't got the confidence to take someone on. He turns his back and shields the ball, trying to win free kicks. Now the difference with someone like Ben Rama, he will try the 2 or 3 step overs and try to get it around him. Cornet is the same.
Yeah.
So players like Bowen, as much as they've been good players for us under Moyes, they need to be dropped. He needs to mix it up. But whether, as I said, people are saying he's too stubborn to do it. Well, unfortunately, if we keep going like this, he'll be out of work.
Yeah, and this is it, because it isn't, you know, towards the end of the season, the form that we was in, you can sit there and say, yeah, all right, it's because we're small squad, we're stretched, we're pushing for a European, try and get into a European final. You can excuse that, but not now. You know, yeah, some of the players are still a bit jaded, but it's the excuse isn't there now. We've increased the squad, we've increased the quality of the players, and the performances are not good enough. You know, it's football's a crazy thing. You know, you look back, we get that goal allowed against Chelsea, we beat Spurs. You know, we had enough opportunities. Things are looking a bit more rosy. It's just the fact that we've gone back to the same old West Ham. As I said,
even when you look at the Nottingham Forest game, Scott, Rice scores that penalty, you get a point. But you know, the 2 that in the crossbar go in, we could end up winning that game. We could be in a much better position now. But sometimes you need luck on your side, and we ain't getting that at the moment. We are in Europe, but not in the Premier League.
Exactly. And this is the thing. Like you said, we've got our next 6 games. 4 of them games are winnable off the bat. You know, as much as the other side's a decent size, 4 of them games are winnable. And I'll be honest, out of the 6, we've got to be looking to take 12 points. We've got to be looking to take 12 points. And look, I know it probably ain't going to happen. You know, Fulham are playing well. Wolves are one of them sides, but you've got to be looking at winning these games. And this is the thing for me. We can't be in this position going into that break for the World Cup. We need to be at least mid-table. And don't get me wrong, I'll take mid-table finish as long as we're in the Conference League.
Yeah, I think everyone would take 4th from bottom now and win that Conference League. Because as I said, no one remembers the Premier League tables in the future. Everyone remembers trophies, though. In that right, Gray?
Can't put 4th place in the trophy cabinet.
Spot on, mate. Spot on. Do you want to go through some comments, Scott?
Yeah, mate. I've actually paid attention to a bit. I'm just reading the last couple because when I'm talking, I don't want to look at the comments because I'll end up forgetting what I do. This one here says, bring in Rafa. don't think I agree with that one.
Well, the thing is, like people were saying about Pochettino and Tuchel and Rafa Benitez. Well, personally, I wouldn't want Rafa. Tuchel, I wouldn't mind, but Pochettino, we ain't going to get. I'll tell you exactly, and I said this last night on the podcast. I'll tell you, if Moyes goes, I know exactly who we will get. He's out of work and he's friends with Brady and Sullivan, and that'll be Sean Dyche, and that will be 100% who we get. So don't always, Sean Dyche is a good manager, but he's not no improvement on David Moyes for me. He's a
we're not going to suddenly start playing this amazing expansive game under Sean Dyche. It'll be jogging.
That's exactly who we'll get.
Moyes' job is safe. I bet he's relieved. No need to start new players and stick with the hoof up to Antonio. Kent says, I'm Moyes in, but we must win at least 2 of the next 3 games. As for Noble, he must have a role for life. We've wasted too many legends over the years, and he knows the club from top to bottom. Stevie C says, great to have Noble back in the same capacity. Hope his legacy remains forever and never to manage our club. Sorry. Oh, sorry. No, I had that one. That's for later. I'm still behind Moyes, but the next 3 games are crucial. We have to get some goals going. JT says he just needs to change players and tactics. Honestly, you can't play out form players or the same team every game. I also heard Tuchel might come if Moyes goes. I don't know about Tuchel, If we had beaten Spurs and got a draw against Chelsea, both of which could have easily happened, no one would have said anything about Moyes out. Stick with him from now. He's more than earned that. I think that's roughly what we were saying earlier on. It's not just Moyes not playing new signings, also tactics. Antonio was on the podcast recently saying Moyes tells the team to sit back and try and nick a last-minute goal. Sounds like Sam Allardyce, to be fair. You're 100% right, Scott, but how long does he have realistically? It's that is really a good question. How long do we?
I think it depends on the next, up until the break from the World Cup. Because if we get a few wins in there and we're sitting mid-table, they're not going to sack him.
No.
But if we go 3 or 4, if we go the next 3 or 4 games, bad performances, we're conceding. Don't get me wrong, it was a good finish the other day, but they backed off him. There was no one around him. They allowed him to have that time on the ball. I was saying this the other night as well. I said a lot the other night by the sounds of it. But what you've seen of him so far, do you think that maybe when Aguard's back, do you think maybe you could see maybe Correa play in midfield as a defensive midfielder? Because I think he's got the attributes to do that.
I'll be honest, mate. I'll go 3 at the back as soon as Aguard's fit.
Yeah, no, I would, and I think someone said that the other day that was Moyes' plan to play 3 at the back this season.
Yeah.
And I've got Zuma, Aguard, and Correa would be a brilliant back 3. Don't get me wrong, but I can see him a bit like how Declan Rice started out. He started out as a centre back. Yeah. But I can just the way what I've seen of him, I think he's comfortable on the ball. I could maybe see him pushing in that role in the future for West Ham.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and he has, like you said, he's got the attributes of it. But it's again square pegs round nose. We saw him Flynn Downs to play as a centre holding midfielder. We've got cover commentary who sort of plays a similar role. It's we've got the abundance of talent there to do a job. It's just about rotating and finding it. The players just need to click. That's not happening this year. We're not clicking.
There's a lot of new players come in and they've got to get used to each other. Yeah. I mean, there's some fans already starting to turn on Paqueta. He's played 3 games. What do they expect? 3 hat-tricks. Yeah. What do they expect?
And this is the thing. He's obviously the language is a bit of a barrier. He's still got to learn English, because you can still see that when he's coming on, there's players translating what Nolan's saying to him. Whether that's just because Nolan's a Scouser, I don't know. But you've got that still happening. You've like you said, there is a bedding in period, and I still see that he's so far in front of other players. All right, he's got to adjust to the pace of the game. He gets caught on the ball a bit, but I just feel that the players are not on that wavelength yet. and I feel that you've got to play the right players. And I think players like Souček, and you guys know I'm a big fan of Souček, they're not on the wavelength of Paqueta.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
the likes of Scamacca are, you know, the likes of Declan Rice is, and it's finding that balance. And Moyes now needs to do that. He needs to find the right balance. He's got the excuse to change it because we're not playing well. So change it up, mix it up a bit.
How do you take that feedback off?
Right, Grace, click on your setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Audio, yeah.
Yeah, click audio.
Yeah.
Click echo cancellation.
It's on. I've got a tick.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be you, Scott.
No, it's not me, mate.
Oh, it's gone now.
There you go.
Oh, it's back now. It's there. It's gone. It's there. He's there.
We'll ask Dan thumbs up.
Listen, if you are watching us, really appreciate it. If you can hit the thumbs up as well, you know, it helps us out, helps share the video a lot more. So all you got, they don't cost you nothing. You know, we ain't asking for money. That's the Patreon side of it. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, and it'll help us out massively. You don't realise. I never knew what the thumbs up meant. I just thought, like, yeah, it's just a button that you press, like, to look after your mates. But no, yeah, it does help you. So if you could smash that like button, I know it'll keep Miss Hammerette happy as well.
I've got two more to take on what we were saying. Fornell should really be a squad player. We've got Emerson at left wing back. We've got Cornet and Benny at left wing, and Paqueta at the cam role. And then Gaz 33 years plus a hammer. Stop going back to go forward. Have the ball and drop your favourite. Then the bench will be great, and you can earn to play.
What was you saying, Gray?
Scott said Cam. He knows that winds me up.
That's why I said it.
He knows that. Like when we was in Benidorm, he was saying math without the S. He knows it winds me up.
Oh,
what else
right.
did you say?
You send Dan the code to log in.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
What else did you say, Scott? That wound me up. Was it the buoy? The buoy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mate, I'm about to wind up. It's a silly little thing.
I was talking to Terps. I heard you say it. I don't remember what he said.
Let's see what else we got. Yeah, we should have changed the title to Thursday Night Pint instead of Friday Night Pint.
Hey?
I said we should have changed the title to Thursday Night Pint.
Yeah.
Right, what we got? Another comment here. Sometimes all it takes is to put your arm around the players and show them a bit of encouragement, but Moyes doesn't seem to do any of that.
I think someone needs to put their arm around Moyes and just say, listen, mate. What is it? The Tartan Guardiola. Come on, son. Get back to what we want. Super David Moyes back.
Exactly. I'm more afraid of players like Scamacca and Paqueta getting miffed with the style of play not suiting him. Eventually, they'll get frustrated and want out. Dash 100% will be brought in to keep us up, and if he can't, they'll have to rehire Moyes to save us a third time.
Third time lucky.
You never know. Paqueta will flop under Moyes. Most creative players do.
Interesting.
Did you guys listen to the recent podcast with Antonio? And before we start on that, right, Dan?
How's it going? Literally just walked through the door, just got you just set up, man, from the Midlands. So
nice.
I bumped into a West Ham fan on the platform, and I was chatting to him about West Ham and was moaning about it all the way home. So I've already got everything off my chest on the way here. It was therapeutic. Been moaning everything.
Not like you to moan, Sam. Like you?
No, not usually.
Dan, sort out this audio. Someone's got feedback. It's not me. It's not Scott. We know it's Graham, but he don't know how to do it.
I just told you I've got the echo cancellation on.
Right, Scott, talk.
Hello.
Wait, let's mute Graham and see what happens. Right, Graham's muted right now.
Yep.
It's Graham.
It's Graham. I told you. I knew it was Graham.
Graham.
Well, we're short term, we'll just have to have. It's not the. I don't know.
I think it's because he's doing it from his phone.
But I don't know. That's weird because sometimes I've done it on my phone and Nikki has, and we haven't had that weird thing. Maybe try turn the echo cancellation off or on or off. If it's on, turn it off. If it's off, turn it on.
Yeah.
But what?
There we go.
Oh, no.
You turned it off?
He's muted himself.
Hey.
Any better?
That's
Yeah,
a lot better. Leave it like that now, Gray. Don't touch anything. Just sit there and look at me.
Well,
Is
Dan,
it all right?
we are. Oh,
no, it's back again.
what's that now?
It's back.
Guess who's back? Yeah, Dan, we're 40 minutes in, so we have covered like the Noble thing,
everything,
the David Moyes situation. But I don't know if you want to have a little 2 minutes to yourself and give us your thoughts on Nobes coming back to the football club. And just anything you want, just open discussion. Anything you want to
discussion. No, just quickly on the Nobes thing. Yeah, I'm in two minds. I think it's great to have Nobes back for sure, like in the club, and a lot of the responsibilities that he'll have, I think he's built for. You know, the player welfare and all of that stuff, the youth's aspects of things, all of that stuff. Working closely with Moyes, it's the only side that I'm confused about is the player recruitment aspect of it, and the other aspects of a director of football, just in terms of his lack of experience. And we've obviously got Rob Newman, who's the head of recruitment. What does this mean for Newman with Rice, Noble coming in? And they said in black and white he's going to be responsible for recruitment. So what does that mean for Newman? Is Newman going to be working with Rob Newman? He's going to be working over Rob Newman.
I think he's going to come in and sort of work alongside everyone by the sounds of it. The board of directors, the David Moyes, Rob Newman. I think he's going to sort of be the go-between between the players, the manager, the board. I think he'll probably hand in his notice in about 2 weeks' time. Starts in January.
It's surprising because we all expected him to be on the coaching team in some capacity. But I just wonder the motivations. You know, what is the reason for giving Noble this role, particularly? You know, which is quite a big role at football clubs, and you know, it's become almost as important as the manager, where people hire it and they try and get the big names from different clubs and who have done good jobs elsewhere. So I wonder, what is the motivation? Is it PR because things are going, or is it because the board know Noble? They can talk to Noble. Noble understands them. He understands the manager, understands the culture. So it's just, I think, overall it's positive to have him back. It's just certain aspects of it are confusing to me and I'm unclear about.
Yeah. I do get what you say. Maybe it might be a bit of a PR stunt with everything that's going on at the moment. Maybe they wanted to make this announcement in January. Like, maybe they just thought, fuck it, let's get it out of there quick. The Noble, put on your best suit and get down to London Stadium. We want to take some photos. But I do understand. But I think that Noble was always destined to come back. Everyone thought it was going to be as a coach. Maybe this is the role that he wants to take, because as we said, he did go to Harvard to get what did he get, Scott? I got it wrong last time.
Certificate, but I'll stick
he got
with the degree.
Yeah, he passed a course in media or whatever, but it's obviously something that he's looked into, and he was meant to do this before COVID, so it's something that he's obviously thought about for the last couple of years. So it's just nice to have him back at the football club.
Yeah, I just think when it comes to identifying talent, and look, we've never seen more Noble have to have any involvement in this. He might have a really good eye for talent. He might watch a lot of other leagues and other teams and scout and things like that. He might do that, but it's just something that we've never seen him have to do and things like that. And if Moyes does go at some point, usually director of football will have a big say and a big, say in identifying the next manager, implementing what style of play you want the team to have from manager to manager, and reflecting that, is that something that we're going to give Noble responsibility for? If Moyes is sacked eventually, is Noble going to be part of the person identifying, right, we should go and get, this manager, or this manager can really fit the profile of player that we have, or but we'll see. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to hurt us. I don't, like, we've got other people in place, and like Newman and that, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be very interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was. With everything that's been going on results-wise lately, I mean, it did give everyone a little bit of a boost when that news come out today. So, it's it's good. It's good to have him back at the football club.
That's it.
Yeah.
The thing is, you say that it's the link between the manager and the players and the board. Let's not forget. I don't think Nobes is a big fan of the board anyway. That's the funny thing. He's spoken out a few times, and maybe that could be why they've got him, because they know he's going to be no nonsense. He's going to tell them straight how it is and not going to beat around the bush. And that's what we need.
Yeah,
I'm just watching Graham. Graham, you having fun down there, mate?
His audio.
He's got feedback.
Maybe you could mute.
Everything's on. The auto mic's on. The echo cancellation's on. So I have no idea what's on.
And then it minimizes it. So when you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. And then when you speak, and then at least then we only hear it when you've got something to say.
In the words of Mourinho, if I speak, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll mute you and you can just do like little mime acts at the bottom and like keep the crowd entertained, like little dances and that.
Like little medium of fire.
Yeah. So we can minimize that. Yeah, it's just like constant presence, that weird noise. Yeah. So, but yeah, let's see how this all unfolds. Hopefully, just having him back around the club will give the players, especially the ones that were here last season, a bit of a boost.
It might give Declan Rice a massive boost as well, having Noble back, because he's gone public and said that he misses Nobes. He was like an older brother to him. He speaks to him every day. So maybe having him back around the training ground and on match days at the stadiums, it might give Rice that little bit of a lift, because I think that Declan Rice is a great captain. He can be a great captain, but I want him to concentrate on the pitch. He don't need all the stuff off the pitch that goes on with what captains have to do. Let other people do that.
He's
just
still
concentrate
young
on playing football. Yeah, he's only 22. He's got so much in such a short career, he's had so much pressure on him. With England, with West Ham, he's obviously got a World Cup coming up in a few months. Not many people do that in their lifetime. He's had a Euro final with England, that pressure in that game. So just take that side away from him and let him go back to what he done last season, just being captain on the pitch.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Did anyone see him on League of Their Own?
No, I missed that one.
You got to watch it. Sam watched it while I was away, and I had it on before I come on here. He's such a character. And to see the fact that they've got him on there, and there's West Ham flags, like they set up a thing on there, and there's West Ham flags there. It just shows you how much that he can drive this club forward.
He was getting a bit of stick for that, where we were playing bad, a few people were going, and that's what happens, it's like people.
The thing is with that was filmed like during the summer, wasn't it? So filmed before the season started.
That's the thing. A lot of it's when things are down, people will find a lot of different things of reasons why.
Yeah, when you're losing, the last thing you want to see is your captain on a TV show fucking about.
Exactly.
But look, listen, Declan Rice is a great character. He's got great personality, and I'm sure that he will be a great captain for us, however long we've got him. But
this is a learning curve for him.
Hopefully we fucking turn things around, or we won't have him for very much longer at all. It's hopefully, because he won't want to be in another relegation battle, that's for sure.
Let's do the 2-minute check. Graham, you all right, mate? I'm going to check up on you every 2 minutes. You all right?
Gray,
You
talk.
unmuted yourself. He's muted. You can unmute yourself, Gray, and talk. I was only joking when I told you to mute yourself.
No, I'm all right.
I love you.
No,
Gray.
someone keeps muting the mic from there, so I just assumed you didn't want me to talk. So
No, we
I reckon
want
it's
you
Scott.
to talk, Gray. We want you to mute
I reckon
yourself
it's
and
Scott.
talk.
Yeah, mute yourself when you're not talking.
Yeah, you
And then
control
when you've got
the
something
mute.
to say,
I know
unmute
your
yourself.
game.
In fact, that's actually a good thing, really, this echo, because then we know when we hear the echo, we know, oh, Graham's got something to say. So you don't have to. Oh, echo's going, what's Graham got to say?
Oh, that was his saying.
Yeah.
Gray, are you just on your phone and you got nothing else on?
No, it's on my phone. Nothing else is on.
Hopefully he's got
I've
his
got
trousers.
because my laptop won't connect to the Wi-Fi for some reason
Get
at the
yourself
moment.
some
I don't know.
earphones. That would be fixed.
Yeah. Get your ear. Oh, no, he can't. His earphone pulls
No.
knackered. Yeah.
My earphone port's knackered and all. I think I need a new phone.
Yeah. There you go. Get a new phone.
Yeah. I'll just go and get some money off the tree out in the garden, yeah?
Good idea, mate. Or make it yourself.
Right, what else do you want to talk about then? What else is on the Scott, you got anything you want to talk about, mate?
No, really, we've covered it, and we really with Nobes, and there's not much else to talk about. It's just Moyes being under a little bit of pressure, and as we said, part of the pressure he's under is he's caused himself.
Oh, hang on, I just remembered something. When I said about we won't get Poch, Tuchel, and or Rafa, who did I say, Scott, that would guarantee we'd get?
Sean Dyche.
And who does a good Sean Dyche impression? Dan Lawless. Dan, you can do us a Sean Dyche impression turning down the West Ham job.
Well, I'm holding out for the likes of PSG. PSG are in on the phone, and I think I'm the great candidate for that job. So West Ham, not quite level a job that Dyche's waiting for,
So I
Actually,
think
with a beard, Dan, you actually look like Dyche. You could be Dyche.
just get Wish Dyche.
Dyche, yeah. This is how we all the Dyche on Wish.
Listen, I'll sort things out. I'll get the team firing. I would like us to try and get Mancini, because you look at Italy, ain't got another competition for 2 years now in the Euros. Is the next competition, and not in the World Cup.
Gaz agrees with you there. He said, I could see Dyche, but Mancini would be good.
Yeah. Oh, so literally at the same time. Yeah. I was saying this to the bloke earlier, and like, if we're going to get, anyway, I think he's, a quality manager, and yeah, they missed out on the World Cup, but ultimately he had them playing some good football. Obviously won the Euros with them. He knows Scamacca. He's Prem experience. So, yeah.
He would be a good shout.
Yeah. This Red 5 says here, I don't care if we finish 16th, more deserves to set out a project for the next 2 seasons.
Muted yourself, mate.
Oh, me?
Was it just me? Is it my audio that's gone?
It's your audio that's gone, mate. Ryan, you can hear me, can't you?
Oh, no, it's me.
Yeah.
It's me. He's making a good point as well, and I want to hear it.
No, I said it, Red 5 says that, I don't care if we finish 16th, more deserves to finish the project. And as we said earlier on, if we're going to finish that low down the table, we've got to win the Conference League. There's no two ways about it. It can't.
Well, not necessarily just League Cup or effort. We need to win something.
Yeah. We can't not win something. One of them 3 trophies, and that's no disrespect. There's some good teams in all 3 of them competitions, but we shouldn't be finishing 16th. Without sank.
£117 million, and like we just can finish, 16th and nothing else. He deserves. He has some credit in the bank, but he doesn't have enough credit in the bank for us to just fall off a cliff for the next 2 seasons. And it's not just the results; it's the performances and the decisions that are, really testing a lot of fans' patience. I think that it's just these things of keep playing players that have shit games game after game and not playing players that are having, good cameos, or the new signings we've spent all the money on. So I think that's why fans aren't willing to wait for 2 more years, because now you've been backed and we're looking worse than we have in a long time. So October is key.
But as we were saying earlier, Dan, we spent all this money, bought these quality players in, and we're not playing them. But other teams, Scott said Newcastle signed a player on the Friday. He was in the team Sunday and he scored. Other teams, they're no signing straight in, but we keep it in right. They're not ready. But we're 7 games into the season now.
Yeah. And Moyes said at the start of the season, we're going to be going through a change. We're going to go through a transition, and that's fine. And I get that new players coming in and old players going out and characters retiring. But if we were seeing the change in the formation, if we were seeing the change of how we're playing, the change in personnel, without with Kera coming in, I still believe that he was only brought in because Aguerd picked up that injury. But if you see these changes and things ain't going right with the changes you're trying to make, if he's changing shape, wants to play 3-5-2 or 3-5, whatever it is, and it's not going right, and he reverts back to what he had last season with the players that he trusted from last season, then you sit there and go, oh, he's tried, it's not quite worked out, the players ain't ready yet, it's going to take a while. But it's the fact we've seen that system once for half a game that's really frustrating me. I get there's a bedding in period. I get there's a transition. I get we're trying to mix things up. But me personally, I don't know about everyone else, I'm not seeing that. If I was seeing that, then I'd say, yeah, okay, well, maybe we need to revert back to what we were, get some more points on the board and try again. But I'm not seeing anything. I'm just seeing this is what we did last season. This is what we're going to do until we start picking up points. And
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, mate. I'm the same. I'm not seeing we spent all this money and because they're not playing. I mean, in Europe, it's different. I do see it. I see it in Europe. I see Cornet, Benrahma, Scamacca on the pitch at the same time, and they're linking up well, and we're winning in Europe. All right, look, the competition we're playing in Europe at the moment, the teams, the level of teams ain't a Premier League standard, but it gives you confidence when you're banging in goals against teams like that. I mean, Scamacca, he scored 4 goals in Europe now, isn't he?
Yeah, 3, 4, something like that.
So, when he finds himself back on the bench on a Saturday or a Sunday in the Premier League, do his confidence in.
Strikers have always been that type of breed, that type of breed of person that they breed confidence. The more goals they score, the more confident they get. And he had that illness that did it seemed to wipe him out a bit, But he's come back, like you said, he got his goal in Europe, and then, like you said, he's back to the bench. All right, if he's still trying to get back to full fitness, I sort of get it. But like we said, the way his attitude is, he seems that striker that thrives on confidence. So when he scores, whether it comes off his arse, comes off his shin, whatever, he's got that goal. So he's then confident and he's hungry to go and get the next one. And we're probably not allowing him to flourish into that more confident player, because when he played that the European game at home, that first game back, he looked jaded. He looked unconfident. You saw with the shots that he missed. You think that would he have missed them chances if he hadn't have been ill and been out of, not been able to train? It's one of them. He seems a confidence player, and I'm thinking if he's scoring in Europe, we've got to keep playing him. You've got to put the players. How good are we normally at set pieces?
We're so shit at set pieces this season. We haven't
been for a while now.
When we do pick the first man, we put it on the goalkeeper, and we put it on goalkeepers who don't flap at crosses. Like we put it on the keeper, like every single keeper's Roberto.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think we need to, on the play, and like you said earlier about progression, if I could see that we're trying to at least play more progressive football, maybe play a little bit more possession style, because then I can see we're trying to.
Playing this. I'm scared right now. I'm not gonna lie.
What the hell is that?
Sledgehammer.
Where's that audio coming from? Did everyone hear that?
Yeah.
Where the
Mute
hell is
yourself,
that?
Dan.
That's Graham. I've just muted
That's
Graham.
not me.
Have you got something running in the background, Gray?
No, it
This
wasn't
is-
great.
No, I've got
This
nothing
is the
on.
only
I've got nothing
audio
on. I've got my
I've
phone on.
got.
That's all I've got on is my phone. There's nothing
Yeah,
on
all
in
I've
my
done
room.
is turn this on. I was like, that was really weird. I was like, who's that?
Because Dan, some Americans got into Dan's room and started talking
Yeah,
to him.
I was like, what the hell? So what was I saying? Yeah, like I'm with the players that we've signed, we need to be looking to play a more progressive style because you've got Paqueta, and we're playing in a style where that sees us not have a lot of possession, but you're having a player of that quality who wants the ball. You want to give the ball and let him make things happen. But we're either bypassing him completely or just asking him as soon as he gets the ball to pass it to someone else. And same with Scamacca, these players that like to link up and create chances. The way we were playing before, it's not going to work. So what have we signed them for? Have we signed these players who are great in other systems just to try and shoehorn them into ours? Or have we signed them to progress how we play to fit them? That's, what I want to know. And if I could see him, I could see he was trying to play more attacking football or football more progressive, but we were losing. You could hold on to something. There's nothing I can, put my hat on and say, okay, there's that. I can see progression there. We're losing, but this is starting to look good, or we're coming along here. The Everton game was like the worst performance of the season. 7 games in, so I'm not even seeing like, okay, we're getting gradually better.
The Everton game was really poor. Probably the worst I've seen us play in a long time.
The amazing thing is that game was poor, but we still created enough chances to get a result.
The difference between the two sets of teams is that they were poor as well, but they had people that wanted to battle. They had people willing to put tackles in, and that's at the end of the day, that's all you need.
Yeah, and also you look at, I said this in the chat. You look at Onana. He's got in there, and he's one of their better players, and he was a player that we were saying we're not paying him that sort of money. We're not, we don't think he's going to start. Let's be honest, the way we've started this season, he starts over our midfield.
Yeah.
He puts himself about. He's a box-to-box player.
Yeah, it's mad. I jumped in. I tuned in a little bit earlier on my way home and was seeing what Ryan was saying about Souček, and not offering much else, apart from late runs and he breaks up play a bit, and I think that's spot on. And the fact that we're not trying, anyone else there like a Fornals or Flynn Downs there in the league, it's just shocking. And I saw Miss Hammerette asked about what if we lose to Anderlecht. To me, Anderlecht's going to be a tough game, and we're, Europe, if we lose that, there it is. Yeah, if we lose to Anderlecht, I'm not really basing a lot on that because it's Europe. That's going to be the toughest team in the group. We haven't really got a settled team there. I don't know what team we're going to play, and it's a group game, so we can still, win it. I'm looking at Wolves, and I want to see changes. I'm still seeing Bowen. If I'm still seeing Souček starting, Soufal maybe has to start because we don't know where the fuck Ashby is, but the Creswells, we're still seeing these same players play, and we're still doing the same thing and playing in the same way. Then you start to think, yeah, this geezer's maybe not going to be the guy to turn it around.
I think we will see a reaction from Moyes against Wolves. I think he knows that. I know he's been stubborn before, but I think he knows now that it's not working, and he has to change. He has to change it. And for me, I think Cornet's worth a start. I think Scamacca's definitely worth a start. Look, Antonio hasn't done nothing wrong, so I could maybe see him, maybe Antonio go out wide. Play him out wide, and get in the box with Scamacca, because I don't think Antonio's done anything wrong to be dropped, but he likes to play one up top, so that's the only thing that worries me.
I'd maybe put if Bowen's out from where he dropped Bowen and put Antonio out on the right.
Yeah,
have natural. As we were saying earlier about the natural wingers. Have a left footer playing on the left and right footer playing on the right. You know, players who are wingers. You know, Fornells keeps playing out wide left. He's not a winger. You know.
No, I don't. Yeah, like I said, I want to see him play next to Rice. I want to try that out because I think it'd be good there. You know,
So the good thing for me is what you know we've gone through tonight, and you know we're debating it. We're not being negative. We're trying to bring the negative and the positive of it all. And you see this in the chat with some of the comments. You know, there's people who are saying, "Yeah, Moyes needs the time." There's people who say Moyes. It's going to be a divided opinion. You know, and this is the good thing about it. But you know, you look at some of the comments here. Nottingham Forest have spent 150 million this transfer. Are they going to win a trophy? You know, we're not saying what we said earlier about finishing 16th, we should win a trophy. It's not about how much money you spend. It's just when you look at the last 2 seasons we have, to finish somewhere as low down as 16th and not have a trophy at the end of it, whether it be one of the cups, it's a bit demoralising for us as fans and probably some of the players as well. You've got to remember Moyes when he was at Everton. There was times when he was at Everton, he had a good couple of seasons and he had a little lull, and then he come back. You know, and if we see that same thing, if we have a poor season but a very, very good cup run this year, you'll take it because you know Moyes will bring it back around.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, someone's just said there, like, what if he does start the same team against Wolves? I mean, what the other thing today is, what if he did and we beat Wolves? What if he started the same team after that and they clicked and then we started winning games?
Yeah, I don't want to see us just beat Wolves though. If we say he starts the same team, because we could, and there's been a few games here, say the Everton game, we could have played shit in that game. And then, like, Ben Rama's goal could have gone in, and we could have maybe, you know, cut that error out. But we still, in the grand scheme of things, we would have been in the same situation. So if we are shit like most of the game, and we shit house a goal, you know, and it's the same players, the same performances, Bowen's still crap, Souček's still crap. It's good that we got 3 points, but then it just looks like, well, nothing's changed in the grand scheme of things. You know, we're still, you know, Aston Villa, we won that game, but for a large portion of it, we was crap. But they were worse. So I need to see that. And I think this Nottingham Forest comparison is ridiculous because their objective is to stay in this league. They've spent 150 million because they had 8 players go and they've had to replace them and try and strengthen their squad. They've probably signed more than they needed and they've spent a bit poorly. But it's not, you know, it's not even near the same. Whereas we've spent, you know, 180 million after being in Europe, which Moyes got us there. But, you know, the manager's been backed now and he was cautious. And a lot of the reason why we missed out on certain things we did last season is because he didn't want to, he couldn't find the players he wanted last season and said, let me wait and I want to try and find the right player. Well, if you're waiting to find the right player, these need to be the right players. And one of the most frustrating things for me is his treatment of Ben Rama. And I can't get over it when I see Souček and Bowen start game after game when just having awful performances, and Ben Rama when he comes on, you know, looking positive, creating chances when he has started earlier, you know, one of our better players of the season, and he could just be dropped like that out of nowhere.
I think the problem with Ben Rama is there's times that you see his brilliance and what he can do. You know, he was very unlucky against Everton. He inside the post to come out. But the problem is sometimes for me, especially when he's out on that left, because he's going to give the ball away a lot, because when he tries to take on players, the defenders sometimes get the better of you. And it's the lack of strength we have behind him when he does lose the ball. But
this has always been a problem on the left, though. Even when Anderson there, we don't have a good defender there on the left.
When you also look at that, though, Dan, that European game, who do we play at home first? He was absolutely awful.
Viborg,
yeah.
Where one of them European games he started in, and he was the worst player on the pitch.
Yeah, but that's
the frustrating thing with him.
But that's the thing. It doesn't wash though, Scott, does it? Though, when we can say, "Oh, he has this game and he's good in this game and it's good," when other players have been absolutely shit and have contributed absolutely nothing and they still play. This is the point. Moyes having his favourites, and I think things like that, it can split dressing rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree with what you're saying. You know, it can. And, you know, on form, when you look at form overall so far this season, he's one of our top performing players and he has to start. And like you said,
he's come off the bench. He's looked good and he's created chances. You know, like I said, he nearly got that goal against Everton, hit the post. You know, he comes on. I think it was Villa. He came on, looked lively. Best player against Nottingham Forest. He was unlucky to have a goal ruled out, and it's just like he tries and he puts his heart into it, but for some reason, and maybe because the manager didn't fancy him and wanted Eze, he just, won't give him a chance, won't give him a run of games. But Bowen can be shit weak, and it's not fair on Bowen either because it puts the animosity of the fans on Bowen. Same way like when Nolan was sort of past it, and Allardyce kept playing him, and the fans put all that animosity on the player. And all the animosity should not be on Bowen for his performances. It's all on Moyes. It's not.
Listen, I totally agree on Ben Rama. I like Ben Rama, and I know he loses the ball, but at least I like Ben Rama because he's willing to try things and create things. Yeah. And yeah, he can frustrate you, but what player on that pitch don't frustrate you at the moment? There's loads of players out there. As you said, Bowen, for me, he always seems to get a pass, and he always seems to get into the team when, for me, I'll be looking to drop him. I'll be looking to drop him and Fornells and maybe bringing Antonio and Ben Rama in on the wings for the next game. Try something different.
And that's what I've always said creative players will lose the ball. Paqueta, if we're getting him the ball when he's trying to make things happen, he's going to lose the ball.
Yeah.
I said it before. Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal lost one of the highest stats for losing the ball.
I would rather have a player like that trying something a bit different.
Yeah.
I think at the time we're two teams now. All they got to do is get behind the ball, and we haven't got the nous to play through them or play between the lines. Whereas now we've got a player in Paqueta who can do that, but then we've got the other players got to get on the wavelength and make the runs.
Souček was the prime example against Everton. I remember Antonio was between the two defenders. All Souček had to do was play that ball through in front of Antonio. He runs on and scores, but he plays the safe ball sideways, backwards. We always want to play the safe ball. When you have players like Ben Rama or Paqueta that can try and take a risk, you have to take risks sometimes. And we see it with Ben Rama's shot from outside the box. It's that close, few inches to the right, and that's in there. But he's had a go. He's taking a chance, and we don't take enough risks, and that's what you do where you try and.
As Graham said, I'd rather see players try stuff than not try stuff. I mean, you can play. There's times in a game where you have to go back to being defensive. We know that, and there's certain teams that you got to set up against and maybe be a bit defensive. But when you're coming up against teams that like Everton away, go there with a bit of confidence. Go there with confidence and let these players play football. Because as I said, David Moyes, he's to blame. He picks the team. But once them players cross the line as well, I was saying this to Dom yesterday. I said, it's not David Moyes' fault that the players can't pass 2 yards. It's not David Moyes' fault they're making mistakes on the pitch. It's not David Moyes' fault that Soufal does how many foul throws a game. He's lucky that he gets away with some of them. These are basic things. And look, It's going to be. I'm just glad the international break come at this time because I think it's a good time now to let everyone sort of calm down. We're talking about West Ham. England can get relegated tomorrow night. That's our luck at the moment. If England lose to Italy, we're relegated. So
relegated to what? What do they get relegated to?
Group B.
Group B, whatever it is. We drop down to that. Just take some comments. Another £5 donation there from Gaz, 33 years plus a hammer. Keep up the great work, guys. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Lewis says it feels like morale isn't too good at the moment. Moyes drops players in form, keeps players in the team that are out of form. Even Rice looks frustrated.
Did you see Rice's reaction to Souček when he passed it? When he passed it back to Soufal, he was like, he threw his arms up. He was so frustrated, and that's what it must be like. And people are saying, a lot of people have been criticizing Rice's form, and I think having Souček next to him playing so bad isn't helping Rice's game out at all.
No. So, and what you're saying about the international break, it'd be good for these players to get to their countries, and it might give them a boost. You know what I mean? It might give them a lift. Green Street leads. Scamacca won't get too downbeat too quickly. He's tasted Premier League football now. He knows what he needs to do and to toughen up a bit. Any of you boys know what's happened to Souček? He was always bad in midfield, and we just didn't notice because he was scoring. We used to be so dominant in midfield.
His game was like when he first joined the club, he was like he took us all by surprise because he was getting in on the goals. You know, he was winning the headers. But as I said earlier, he's not really doing that anymore. So I don't see what he's offering to the team at the moment. I don't like being harsh on Souček, but you just got to say how it is sometimes. You know, I was quick to call out players like Masuaku when he was underperforming, but when he played well, I got behind Masuaku. I never want a player to step on that pitch and foul.
Yeah.
You know, I always want to do well.
He seems like a great bloke. You know what I mean? Like in his interviews, he always comes across well. I love him personally, and I wish he could get back in form. But Moyes ain't doing him any help by just letting him go out there week.
Well, not only that, I don't think his fellow players are helping either because we can't put a ball into the box.
Maybe they're not serving potato salad in the canteen anymore.
Need it back on the menu.
He needs his fucking potato salad back.
Another one here, Hayden. I get what Moyes has done with Scamacca so far, but if he gets to December or January and Scamacca isn't starting striker consistently, then he's nuts. Or then that's nuts. Sorry,
Graham. You put your glasses on there like you're going to read a news report.
It's up to see the comments now.
Yeah, it seems fair to slow moving the ball around at the moment for the Premier League. Seems too fast for him, in my opinion. He consistently gives the ball away.
That's another thing we need to take into account is that the Premier League is totally different to any league in the world. Yeah. It's the fastest league in the world. And these players that have played in France, you know, it will take him a little bit of time, but you can see he's got the talent. And you know what else I like about Paqueta as well? I don't know if you see it before the game. He took a knock in the warm-up and like he just straight back up. You know, I've seen him get kicked a few times in games and he's not one to lay about. He looks like he can take a tackle.
And the thing for me as well, mate, he puts a shift in.
Yeah, and the thing is, it goes back to what I said earlier. He wants the ball. He wants to have the ball, not just move the ball, get the ball and just fucking get rid of it. And this is the thing where we have to play his strengths. He's a sort of player that wants to be able to drive forward and then, you know, be able to pick out a pass and take players on and hold the ball and all that sort of stuff. You know, we have to realize that different players have different strengths, and just getting the ball and like it's a hot potato and just passing it any fucking where isn't always, you know, the best way to go.
Yeah. Hayden again says Onana would have been perfect complement to Rice. Biggest loss in a window for us, that was. And we've got one more that I'll take for this thing. We need to make two up top, even if it's interchangeable. So create chances. We need to try something new, so other clubs want to copy us.
Moyes touched on that, didn't he? The whole two up top, and he said, "Oh, we'd have to play 3-5-2," and he sort of addressed why he won't play two up top.
What's wrong with playing 4-4-2?
No, that's what he said. He said like 4-4-2's out old fashioned now. He said like you don't see clubs play 4-4-2. So he said if we did do it, we'd have to play 3-5-2.
Leicester won the league with 4-4-2 a couple of seasons ago.
There you go. It's worth a try. If it else works.
Do you want to go to ask us anything for a little while?
Yeah, go on, mate. Go ask us anything, and I'll start us off because I've picked one that was really early in the show.
Yeah, I've got to remember that it ain't a Friday night, and I've got to get out for work.
Oh yeah.
We'll start with this one. Who's your money on for the World Cup?
I'd say France have got to be favourites again.
England. I don't know.
France have got to be favourites, but they're in the same position in their group as we are, near the bottom, or their bottom.
I'm thinking. I'm going to say Brazil. It's been a long time since Brazil have won anything seemingly in like the World Cup. I mean, they've won Copa America and that shit, but it seems like I'm feeling Brazil. You know,
I think it's like the thing is with England. I think we've got a good enough team to win it, but it's adapting to that weather and the climate. And I think teams like Argentina and Brazil, they're used to that sort of weather. So, yeah.
It's the thing, isn't it? Like during the matches, it probably won't be a problem because it's all indoor. But I think a lot of the getting to and from all that heat, it drains you, doesn't it? Like just
I
being
think I watched the thing. I think it was when David Beckham was out there and Gary Neville was interviewing. I think where England are based, I think their furthest trip from their base to the ground is about 30 minutes. So they've got quite a good location. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like, it's all right for them with the warm weather. We're going to be freezing over here in December watching a World Cup. So it's going to be, with none of us
won't be all outside watching it. I know
no
that.
beer gardens,
none of us have ever experienced it before, like a World Cup in the summer, in the winter. So
I
it's
bet
going to
Box
be
Park
interesting.
are gutted. You know what I mean? Because they fucking love it, having everyone outside watching the big screen and all of that stuff. But
Well, Box Park at Wembley is actually inside.
what?
Yeah, it's
I know
indoors.
South London, but Box Park is out. There's
a couple of them that are
and
outside.
Shoreditch is kind of outside. It has the containers, but when you're sitting and watching the game, you're technically outside.
Yeah, the pubs are definitely going to be packed.
Yeah, this World Cup it's going to be a tough one because the time of year that it's in, you don't know what injuries of players are going to pick up because it's in the season. Like I said, I don't think the climate will have too much of an effect when you're playing because it is indoors. But I think what may come into account is the fact that European teams are not playing South American teams in friendlies. Do you know what I mean? So we've since this Nation League started, and you think you've had a bit of a period since the last World Cup. No one's really had an eye on the South American football and that type of thing. So that could bode well in the advantage for teams like Brazil and Argentina. So it's going to be tricky. England will definitely get out of the group. 100%. If they don't get out of that group, then Gareth Southgate shouldn't come back, in my opinion.
Who we got?
Yeah.
Who we got around
Moyes never come back to Brazil with them results that England got out there, and this team that Southgate's got, we should piss that group. So and easily be semi-finalists at a minimum for me. But I fancy one of the two South American boys, Argentina or Brazil.
Yeah, South semi-final's got to be the target, isn't it?
Winning, it's got to be the target because if we don't do it with this crop of players, we're never, ever, ever going to do it again.
Yeah.
Philip says, "What is your favourite World Cup, regardless on how England performed?"
I got Italia '90 was good, and I thought France '98 was a good one as well.
Yeah, France '98.
I think the Russia World Cup in 2018 was good as well. Yeah, probably World Cup '98. I don't really remember Italian '92. Well, I remember it being about, but I don't really remember it because I was only like 5 or 6 at the time. So, but I remember everyone wearing England shirts and going mad. But probably World Cup '98.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I have to say World Cup '98. That was like the first one where I really got into it. Like and I had the sticker book. I had the World Cup '98 sticker book. First FIFA game I really got into, apart from I had World Cup '92 on Sega, but like the first one with it had the soundtrack with Blur on it, World Cup '98, and with
probably one of my most favourite tournaments though, watching England, was Euro 2004 when Rooney burst onto the scene.
Yeah,
that was an unbelievable tournament, man. I had so many good memories of that tournament.
Yeah.
Euro
92 actually, because not 92, sorry, 2002, because I remember going in. Everyone would go into school earlier to watch because the games were super early, so you'd get an early bus to school and they'd have it on the big projector, and we used to watch the games. And there was this one kid that was a bit of a twat, wanted to be different, and he'd paint his face the flags of whatever team England was playing, just to be a twat, and everyone would shit on him. Yeah, good times.
No, Italia '90 was my first World Cup. But yeah, that's the one I remember the most of. I'd say so.
I vaguely 82, Spain 82, I was 6. I don't really remember too much about that, but Mexico 86 was the one that I first really remember sitting down like with my dad and that watching. So that was a decent tournament, Mexico 86.
I was 2.
I was 6.
I was nearly 10.
I was -2.
It was
Thanks, Dave. I feel really old. Cheers, mate.
I got another one. Hammers Mickey says, over the years, have you done a Friday Night Pint live naked from the waist down behind the cameras? I have for a job interview.
I'll be honest. I don't in my boxers, not fucking completely naked.
Yeah, I've done.
I've done.
I've been in with pants.
Yeah, I've done it in my boxes. I couldn't do it just in case I forget myself and stand up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like I never just sit there naked anyway. You know, we usually do a t-shirt and boxers. Do you know what I mean? So, especially like a job interview, you'd feel it'd be on my mind. Like, you know, I'd be there. Like, I'm naked right now.
So sorry, my computer's running slow, so I keep touching things. I'm just trying to pick.
Oh yeah,
things you shouldn't, eh?
I ain't good talking about naked in the waist down and saying I'm touching things, is it?
It's a family show, Scott. It's a family show.
Next one. Here we got this one here. Here we go. Best player that you think did not do it for England?
That's a good question. That's good.
Best player you think did not do it for England?
I think that golden generation didn't live up to expectations. I think with England, and you know what we should have won. You know, the days when we had the Lampards and Gerrards and a lot of those players, they never quite lived up to what they should have. I think they underachieved. You know, even though they had some great performances, you could all point to like, oh, this performance. But overall, I don't think they did what they should have.
Yeah, I'd probably. Do you know someone that springs to mind? Joe Cole, because I think he was wasted.
Yeah,
he was wasted for England. He was one of the best players like at that time, and they just a bit like what they done with Scholes. They always wanted to have Gerrard Lampard in the middle, and they chucked Scholes and Joe Cole out on the left when they should have been in the centre. Joe Cole should have been dictating the game. You know, he was one of the best at it. But yeah.
But it's when you needed a manager who was willing to play a 5 in midfield and play Lampard, Scholes, and Gerrard all together.
Yeah. I'd say if they'd been sort of playing when Venables and Oddle, that period when they were in charge from like 94 to 2000, if they'd been playing in that sort of time period, I think you would have seen the best of them, because they weren't afraid to, you know, play the 3-5-2.
And I think Andrew's just said a good one now. Was Matt Letizia. I mean, what a player he was. He didn't even get a look in for England.
Yeah.
No.
We got one here. Heskey, Rooney at any World Cup. Yeah, he didn't have the best record in the World Cups. Is that Barnes?
Yeah,
Gerrard.
You could probably point to anyone like with England. Like England have always had great players for their clubs that just haven't done it for England. So I want to. I've got to get your lots. I want to get your lots opinion on this, by the way, on something. So Andrew's pointing this out. So I've bet £100 with Tap In Toes, a Spurs fan. I've said that Heung-min Son won't get within 10 league goals of Haaland this season. So he'll have 10 goals or less than Haaland. £100.
Yeah, I think I'll back you on that, mate, because I think we're going to see records broken this season with Haaland.
I can see Haaland getting 40 odd. Easy.
They said it.
Haaland. I thought it was
Haaland,
yeah. They said the other day that someone scored 60 goals in a season once, and in the league, and they think that Haaland could get close to that. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is he is unreal.
He only doesn't break. I think it's Shearer and Andy Cole have got the record. He only doesn't break their records if he gets injured.
Yeah, that's what I'm holding out for. He stays.
Yeah.
But this is the thing.
Son scored a hat trick the other day against a very, very poor Leicester side.
Yeah, Son will have to say if Haaland gets 40 goals, you know what I mean. Then Son is going to have to get like over 30 goals. Do you know what I mean?
Is this only in the league? Or
in the league, in
the league. I think even Son's best season, he's only got like 22, 23 goals. So yeah, I think you want to start spending that money in your head, mate, already.
Oh, it'd be nice to
the funny thing is, right? This is the most frustrating thing as us as an English side. He could play for England. If he had chose the nation of his birth, he could have played for England.
Imagine that.
And he'd be at the World Cup now. Well, World Cup this year.
That's the only crazy thing is that Haaland's not going to be at the World Cup. You know, he's going to be on Man City's training ground taking penalties against Scott Carson. You know, and he should be at the World Cup. It's crazy to think that someone like him ain't going to be at the World Cup because this is obviously going to be Messi's last World Cup, Ronaldo's last World Cup. You know, so many players are going to be bailing out after this tournament internationally. But yeah, I'm sure Haaland will have loads of tournaments to play. But as a Man City fan, I'd be buzzing with that.
Yeah. And that's the worrying thing. I said this before. I'm saying this to Graham that this year, because it's the way it is, if a team has a good run leading up to the World Cup and they've not got many players away on international duty, they could benefit. You know, teams like Brighton, if they had kept hold of Potter, you know, and they were up and thereabouts, you know, with less internet players going on playing at the World Cup, it's there for somebody else to nick it because these players will get leggy towards the end of the season with all the games that they're playing.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Do you want to carry on or use all right? Do you want to finish up?
No, we could just deal with these starred ones. Get the
go on, mate.
Because super chat.
Yeah, go on then.
It works. There we go. Mice Collective SE has donated 20 SE.
Is that South Korean money? Is that South extra Korean? I don't know. 20
Moyes out. Make you wear cat mask in training.
Is that so Zuma will kick him or something?
JT says you guys watched Queen's funeral. All that was on TV last week was about the Queen's journey. I think we all watched it, didn't we?
I missed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I fell asleep, but I was on things like that all day hangover. So
yeah, it was a great send off for the Queen. You know, they've done us proud. You know, everyone involved, especially them pallbearers. Bloody hell, what a job they had!
Mate. Oh no,
the pressure on them. You know, was it 5.1 billion people watched that funeral? That's over half the world's population.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? And it goes to show what she meant to a lot of people.
Yeah. She's with Philip now, and she's rest in peace now. You know, we've got a king now.
England. How many people singing the national anthem are going to forget and still say Queen?
Yeah.
I think a lot.
It seems weird.
Does, doesn't it?
It's not only that. It's like I still call him Prince Charles. You're so used to saying it. He's king. So
I think like now, like we've had to change it to "God Save the King." They could jazz up the tune a bit. You know what I mean? Change the a bit. You know what I mean? Liven it up. You know, it's time for change.
Yeah,
sing it like how the Sex Pistols sung "God Save the Queen."
Yeah, God Save the King. It's fascist regime.
But yeah, no, that's all the ones that I've started for now.
Nice. Well, next time I'll see you lot will be Stag.
Yeah, don't say where we're going though, just in case random people start turning up.
Imagine people can travel all the way down to the secret. Well, if you do bump into us, do say hello.
Yeah. But yeah, we are out for Nicky's stag on Saturday night. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing everyone. A few of us going out, have a few drinks, have a laugh.
Little
Yeah,
bogey.
no, we could see everyone. We could see everyone. We ain't been out together for a long time, so there's going to be a few people there as well, old mates of mine and Nicky's. So it'd be good. It'd be good to see everyone.
Right, before we sign off, Miss Amarin sent you a question and I can't find it. Miss Amarin, please send it again.
Yeah, every time I'm scrolling up to everything Miss Amaret said, and none of it's a question. Like every comment Miss Amaret's made, not question, not question, not question. Oh, here we go. It's all right. There we go. Joyce Parker to win.
I had a feeling it was going to be like a boxing question. Yeah, it's well, I'm out Saturday night, but I might have to try to get this on my phone and watch it in the corner.
Depending on what state you're in.
I think, I don't know. It's a hard one to call because Parker's a tough opponent. He's experienced, but I don't know. I think Joyce is just going to have too much power for him, and I think Joyce will beat him within. I think it'll be over within 6 rounds.
There you go.
I think that it's one of them, isn't it? I think you've got first 6, you're going to say Parker. Last 6, you're going to say Joyce. So
I just think I don't know. I like Parker as well, but I just think Joyce will have too much power for him, and he's young, he's hungry, he'll want it more. He's got a lot more to prove. You know, Parker's had a good career, but yeah, no, I fancy Joyce.
I agree with what a lot of the pundits are saying, though. It's good to see that these two are taking this fight on because so many other boxers shy away from fighting boxers that are ranked. You know, they're 1 and 2. Aren't they? You know, and you don't normally see that often anymore in especially in heavyweight boxing. You know, they always try and dodge a fight like that and just hold out to keep the rankings where it is so they can get their fight against one of the big boys. But there should be some good fights coming up.
Well, yeah, someone just said it there. You got Ben Eubank coming up. You know, hopefully we'll see Joshua Fury, which won't happen, but we might. You never know. I think that's scheduled for December the 3rd, isn't it? Which is the same day as the last 16 of the World Cup. So that could be a super Saturday. I think they're going to fight in Wales as well. So
nice. Bloody hell.
Going to be interesting.
For sure, lads.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you want to? Sorry, I was just replying to me daughter quickly. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, mate.
So listen, as you know, it is Thursday. It's not Friday. So if you have got work on a Friday, make sure you get up because it ain't Friday night. But listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for everyone getting involved in the comments. You make the show. You give us stuff to talk about when we forget. And yeah, thank you for your questions. Don't forget, keep subscribing to the channel. Join the Patreon. The podcast I think it's gone up. Danny, you doing a watch along for England tomorrow?
Yeah, there's watch along for England tomorrow.
So don't forget, Dan's doing the watch along tomorrow. We'll have some more content coming out, but I think we're all looking forward to getting out on Saturday night. And keep the faith. West Ham will be back. And one thing left to say.
Come on.